the great I am, King of heaven.
So hello everyone and welcome to another class of online catechism, and we have finally reached lesson number 15, and this will be part 1 and we'll have another part in the next week as well. So this last lesson is titled, Let us join hands for building up a new creation. This is a lesson which I had talked about in the previous week as well, where I had told you to go through all the associations that we have in our church. So this is something concerned with that. What we'll be looking at here is all the associations that are there in the Syro Malabar Church and in the Roman Catholic Church. Many of them are predated or might not be available in our church. Some of them might be new to you, and some of the associations that we have in our church right now might not be included here because this is a few years prior to that. So without further ado, let's get into the lesson. The lesson starts off with the Bible passage from Revelations 21 verse 1 to 4. Then I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth had passed away, and the sea was no more. And I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God, prepared as a bride adorned for a husband. And I heard a loud voice from the throne crying, See, the home of God is among the mortals. He will dwell with them as their God. They will be His people, and God Himself will be with them. He will wipe every tear from their eyes. Death will be no more, mournings and crying and pain will be no more, for the first things have passed away. Now this is talking about the coming of the new heaven and the new earth, where there will be no death, there will be no suffering, no crying, no pain. God will live among us in this new earth happily, and we will be His people. That is what they're trying to tell here. So for us to be ready for this new heaven and new earth, through associations, how are we going to participate in the missionary activities, what we are going to see here. Now this is a very beautiful passage. I request you to read it again and try to understand the meaning, because coming of a new heaven and a new earth is a very important concept which John had received in his revelations. The majority of world population desire and pray for a new world filled with peace and joy. Of course, everybody does. Look at the last year 2020. It's filled with so much pain, so much suffering due to the COVID pandemic and many more. So we are hoping that 2021 will be a world filled with peace and joy. But the competitive spirit and disunity create a world filled with terror and war. Any activity devoid of God cannot give us peace. Christians have the duty to create a new age by giving Jesus, the Prince of Peace, to the world where there is no peace, because they have received a salvific message for the whole of humanity. Relevance of Catholic associations. Organized missionary activity is the human and Christian need of the faithful. It highlights the union of the Church with Christ. More effects will be obtained through organized activities than through individual efforts. Activity that brings the talents of the whole community together alone will realize all the goals and protect their interests. Common effort is necessary to exalt human dignity and to develop a sense of value. A Christian should be able to lead a life rooted in the values in a world where people are ready to do anything to satisfy selfish desires. World peace cannot be obtained without values like truth, justice, love, etc. If you want to give these values to the world, we, Christians ourselves, have to practice it. We must train posterity also in these values. A future missionary should get special spiritual and moral discipline. He must have the readiness to take initiative suited to the circumstances, courage to complete the tasks he has already undertaken, strength to persevere even in hardships, and patience to resist solitude, tiredness and failure. So these are all things in being a Catholic association will ensure that you receive, and how you can battle for attaining world peace. because standing together is always much more stronger than being alone. Christians participate in various organizational activities from childhood onwards to help them to witness and to get this training as per the teachings of the Second Vatican Council. Some of these associations work for the common missionary goal of the Church. Some others aim at evangelization alone and human sanctification. Again, other groups have in mind to fill the material world with Christian spirit. Some others bear witness to Christ by charitable deeds and loving service. So there are many kinds of associations right from our childhood, and you are also a part of an association, probably the second association that you're a part of, which is the CML. So first, when you were younger, you were a part of the Holy Childhood, the Tirupala Sangham, and now you are a part of the CML, the Little Flower Mission League or the Cheru Pushpam Mission League. Further, there are many more associations that you'll be a part of as you progress through the ages. Let's take a look at them one by one. Tirupala Sangham, the Holy Childhood. The official name of this particular organization is the Pontifical Association of the Holy Childhood. It's from its name, it's a pontifical level, as in it is recognized by Rome, the Vatican, and in Latin, Pontificium Opus a Sancta Infantia. In India, we call it Holy Childhood, and in Syro Malabar Church, we call it the Tirupala Sangham. As you can see, this is a logo for the Pontifical Association. We don't have the Pontifical Association exactly in our Syro Malabar Church, but we call it the Tirupala Sangham. The Pontifical one, which I mentioned earlier, was founded in the year 1843 by Charles de Forbin Jason, who was a Bishop of Nancy, France. It was pronounced as a canonical institution, as in following the canon laws, by Pope Pius IX on 18 July 1856. And further, this was made pontifical in the year 1922. The Pontifical Society of Missionary Childhood proposes to help educators to progressively awaken in children a universal missionary conscience, help children to develop their missionary protagonism. Protagonism basically means playing an important role or a hero role in a particular service, here being missionary. Move children to share their faith and material means, especially with the children of the neediest regions and churches. Promote missionary vocations, to be integrated into the overall pastoral program of Christian education, which will contribute its missionary projection. This association helps to let the mind of children grow in Jesus. The members of this association participate in the missionary activity of the Universal Catholic Church by accepting the slogan, "Let children help children." That is a motto. They participate in this mainly through prayer and contribution. They take care to come together in units to pray, study the Word of God, and participate in the Holy Mass. Through Tirupala Sangham, we are able to make the children grow, pleasing to God and men like Jesus. We do this through short stories and songs, and thus form good values in the children. Now, this is primarily an association which aims at developing the missionary activity from the childhood level itself. For our Ramanathapuram eparchy, the in charge is Father Thomas Kollarittu, MCBS, and he is also the assistant vicar of Erode and Sastrinagar, and the assistant director of the eparchial children's ministry, with, like I said, the specific in charge of Holy Childhood, and also the assistant director for the specific in charge for eparchial medical fraternity. Little Flower Mission League, the CML, or the Cheru Pushpam Mission League. It is an indigenous lay organization and also the biggest missionary organization for laity in Asia. So that's a big continent. CML was started on the guidance and blessings of Bishop of Changanasheri Archdiocese Mar James Kalasheri in the year 1947 at Barananganam by the living legend of Kerala Church, Kunyettan, also called Mr. P.C. Abraham Pallattukunnel, and late Very Reverend Father Joseph Mali Parambil, who was a founder director of CML. Cheru Pushpam Mission League was founded to foster vocation promotion and also to help mission activities across the country by means of man, money, and prayers. Now, this is something very close to the Syro Malabar Church, and that is why we take a lot of pride and we do a lot of activities in this association. Our patron is Saint Therese of Lisieux, which is Little Flower. Our co-patrons are Saint Francis Xavier and Saint Alfonsa. And the CML's motto is love, sacrifice, service, and suffering. I believe there's even a song to it also. Our in charge for the Ramanathapuram eparchy is our very own assistant vicar, Father Anthony Manavalan, Alfin Manavalan if you will. He is also the assistant director for the eparchial children's ministry with specific in charge of CML, altar boys, and Christine. The aims of the Mission League are to fulfill the mission which Jesus entrusted with the words, "Go to the whole world and preach the gospel to all creatures," and thus develop missionary spirit in individuals, families, parishes, and institutions, help in an organized manner the missionary activities of the whole world through prayer, contributions, encouraging vocations, and good example, and develop Christian personality in the children. Now, this year we couldn't do much activities physically, but every year our CML is very active and we do a lot of activities. This year we went completely virtual, but hopefully in 2021 we'll be able to bring all those activities back. Christian Life Community, CLC. The Christian Life Community is an international association of lay Christians who have adopted an Ignatian model of spiritual life. Ignatian model in the sense, the model of Saint Ignatius of Loyola. The community is present in almost 60 countries. The CLC traces its foundation to 1563 when the Jesuit John Leonis gathered a group of lay students at the Roman College to form the Sodality of Our Lady. Now, Sodality of Our Lady is another association which later formed into the CLC now. The Sodality grew and was confirmed by Pope Gregory XIII in 1584 when the Second Vatican Council urged groups like the Sodality to rediscover their original roots. Some Sodalities continued as before, while others became the Christian Life Communities, which is the CLC, a group of communities. The CLC draws its inspiration from the teachings of Saint Ignatius of Loyola and receives spiritual guidance from the Jesuits. The experience of making the spiritual exercises of Saint Ignatius is of paramount importance to the members of CLC. Members are encouraged to adhere to a lifestyle which is gospel-paced and simple, to serve the poor and to integrate contemplation and action. As Ignatian spirituality has an essential apostolic dimension, members of the CLC do reflect also on how to bring the gospel values into all aspects of life in today's world. The CLC adopted its current name in 1967. It tries to be a sign of salvation, God experience, and unity in society. CLC members aim at Christ-centered life, imitating the Blessed Virgin Mary, self-sanctification, salvation for others, and the growth of the Church. Now, CLC is not pretty common in our eparchy, but it is still a part of the Syro Malabar Church as well. Kerala Catholic Students League. Again, this is also something that we don't have pretty much in our eparchy, but it's a very predominant association in Kerala, as the name itself is Kerala. A brief history about it. A beacon of light sparkled in 1915 in the minds of a few Malayali students of St. Joseph's College, Tiruchirappalli, Tamil Nadu. Later, they become eminent as Dr. P.J. Thomas, a world-renowned economist, Sri A.J. John, Chief Minister and Governor, L.M. Piley, the first elected Speaker of the Assembly in India, Dr. I.C. Chacko, an eminent geologist, Archbishop Joseph Attipati, and T.J. Matthew, C.J. Workey, Joseph Feta, and others. They carefully planned with the assistance of a Jesuit priest, Reverend Father Zicard, at the Lawley Hall of College. In 1916, they assembled at St. Berkman's High School, Changanasheri, Kerala, and unanimously decided to go ahead. They appointed a committee to formulate a constitution. It was 13 May 1917 that they chose to have its solemn inauguration at Leo XIII High School, Alapura, by Mar Alexander Chulaparambil, the then Bishop of Kottayam. Incidentally, the first apparition of Our Lady took place in Fatima the same day. How coincidental is it? The newborn student organization took the name Malabar Catholic Students Conference. Within a short time, it was warmly welcomed by almost all the Catholic schools. Reverend Father Honor S.J. became the soul and inspiration of this infant from 1922 until his death in 1934. He invented a new form of training called the Study Circle in 1922. It has since then become the brain and heart of the league. Every year, a study circle book on a relevant topic is published. Now, this study circle is still in effect today. KCSL tries to translate the following objectives into practice: to help the members grow in Jesus Christ to faith, study, and service, and to follow the gospel values in daily life as to become ideal Christians and integrated Indian citizen. To install faith in God and moral consciousness among students, to help students stand for the unity and to uphold the democratic values, to make students responsible to duties while respecting the interests of society and the nation, and much more, as you can see in the slides. You can follow through, pause the video here, and you can go through all their objectives. Now, the Kerala Catholic Students League has Patreons of Most Reverend Dr. Susai Pakyam, Archbishop of Trivandrum, Mar Andrew Sarath, Archbishop of Thrissur, Dr. Samuel Mar Irenios, Auxiliary Bishop of Trivandrum, and Retired Reverend Dr. Christodas R. Now, with this, we will end part 1 of this lesson, and in part 2, we will take a look at much more associations related to our Roman Catholic and Syro Malabar churches. Also, like I said last week, if you have completed any more of these association videos, please do send them to me. In the next class, I will be making a compilation of all your videos as well. So thank you for listening in, and I'll see you in next class. Bye bye.